But yeah, we are really excited to have everyone joining us today. Really cool to see people from all over the world dialing in. We love these webinars, man. I love this community. The JobTread, you guys rock. So excited that you're taking the time to come learn, to improve your business, level it up, getting ready for the new year. Really, really excited.
Eric, man, that's one thing I'll say. You guys have some of the coolest users in that Facebook group. Some of the questions that they're asking just blow my mind.
Yeah.
Just how big they think. Uh, Great community.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Well, let's go ahead and kick it off. Again, really, really excited for a great webinar. We got a lot of people joining us from all over. Got Nick Peret. Super excited to have you on, Nick. Nick,
Let's
he's the
go.
founder of Better Boss, JobTread certified implementation partner, all around rock star, with 9+ years of experience in roofing and construction, including two businesses that he built to over 1 million in revenue. Nick now helps contractors to fully implement JobTread in 30 days, delivering results like it's like 19 to 20 or 42% like close rate improvements. You said 3x, faster estimating, 20+ hours saved a week. So again, like Nick, you have been instrumental in helping so many of our clients. I hear nothing but great things about those who are working with you. So really excited. Appreciate you coming on today, man.
Hey, excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me, Eric.
Absolutely. All right, couple housekeeping things real quick. Just want to remind everyone, if you're not part of the JobTread Facebook group, you definitely got to get in there. Super amazing community. Got over 8,000 JobTread users. Like every single person that is in that community, is a JobTread user or one of our partners. So we keep this a very, very close, knit community, but so awesome to see each of y'all helping each other, whether JobTread related, construction, business related. Like, again, this is what it's about. Rising tide lifts all boats. So appreciate everyone being in there, helping each other. It's just such a cool group of people to see you all. We actually even have a JobTread rock star in the house today, Emma. Shout out to you. You are so awesome, so helpful. Really appreciate it. Can't wait to see it connect soon here. And that leads me to my next announcement. It is not too late to get your JobTread Connect tickets. This is the event of the year that you do not want to miss. January 14th to the 16th. We've already got over 1,000 tickets sold. We are down to the last, 100 or so that we're going to be able to sell. So if you're on the fence, you're thinking about it, you definitely want to get those tickets ASAP. You also want to go and figure out your hotel reservations, get all that booked, get it locked in. Again, this is going to be a phenomenal event to get you fired up, get you ready for 2026. You get to meet Nick himself live and in person in Dallas, Texas, along with our entire team, all of our partners, and all of you, each of you that you spend the entire year working together, helping each other on JobTread Pros. Man, we believe in coming together in person, face to face. So come on out, spend these 3 days with us, and let us show you how you can take your business to the next level. I can't
Ooh,
wait to see you there.
let's go.
All right. Without
Let's
further
go.
ado, man, I want to turn it over to Nick. Let him drop some knowledge on us. This is going to be real, real exciting. He's got a lot in store. So take it away, man.
I appreciate it. All right, everybody. Hey, I'm super pumped up to be here. I've been in the trades, like Eric said, for about 9, 10 years. My dad was an electrician. My uncle was a custom home builder. I grew up in that community. So I appreciate you all. I know what you guys are doing. Running these business is not easy. So I want to give you guys all the credit in the world. I also want to say I've implemented probably 150 different softwares. I've been in them all. I've tested everything. I've been absolutely blown away with JobTread. So you guys that are here, congrats on making a great decision on a very difficult decision, right? With going with JobTread. And I'm gonna help you guys really maximize it in 2026. So if you guys want in the chat, throw, what trade you guys are in, and I'll kind of keep that in mind. But basically, when you're looking at 2026, optimizing your systems, right? Saving you time, getting your sanity back, right? That's gonna be crucial. I want all you guys to have a huge year. All right. So I'm a big sports fan, so we're gonna be going through the JobTread playbook. All right. Business is hard, right? who's with me, right? We've all been there. There's days that are just very difficult, and then there's days that you feel like a hero. But when you're looking at the trades, right, the failure rate is pretty scary, right? So you're looking at about 64% fail by year three, and then there's almost nobody standing by year 10 with 96% failing by year 10. So we want to make sure that that's nobody here, and obviously if you guys are taking time out of your day to continue to learn, chances are very good that you guys are going to continue to succeed and grow your business. I do want to say too, if you do scan that we have, like YouTube is on there, I think it's Instagram's on there. If you guys ever have any content around JobTread that you'd like to see, let me know. You can throw that even in the chat too. And we'll definitely keep that in mind. We'd rather make content that you guys actually want to hear and learn about. All right. So the time problem. So who's felt burnt out before as an entrepreneur? I know that I have. All right. 77% of construction entrepreneurs report burnout, right? We drive, we drive, we drive, we drive. And, that's what I love about contractors. I love the blue collar hustle, right? I got that same thing in my blood. But at the end of the day, when we're not burnt out, we perform much, much better. All right. Now, 61% take only 5 vacation days a year, right? We need to change that. This is why it leads to 72% of entrepreneurs impacted by mental health. All right. So with tools like JobTread, we follow the playbook, we can save time. Right now, on average, owners are spending about 16 of their 50 to 60 hours a week on manual admin work. All right. We're going to go through these plays to help you guys get this time back, get your sanity back, build the systems to scale, and achieve your goals. All right. So who has New Year's resolutions? I'm a big goal guy. I always have New Year's resolutions, right? So you're sitting here, it's December 2026, right? And you are saying, I'm going to optimize my processes, right? I'm getting this stuff out of my head. I'm finally going to build out JobTread and I'm going to get it optimized and I'm going to maximize the system, right? But then reality happens. We never get to it, right? All of a sudden, now we have to get 3 estimates out today. We have an inbox that is absolutely going crazy. There's another fire drill, and the phone's buzzing. All right. So we don't want that to happen. All right. We want to start working on this stuff now. It's one of those things where it just always gets pushed back, right? Because there's a million things to do. But optimizing and going through these plays and implementing these plays, I honestly think can change your life. All right. So why the heck should you listen to me? And I'll make this quick. All right. I am extremely passionate about doing anything I can to help you guys succeed. I've worked with contractors from 0 to 50 million, hundreds of them. All right. We're JobTread certified implementation partners. And I've spent probably about 10,000 hours in the last 3 to 4 years in software reviewing different job files, estimates, take you name it, right? To figure out all these answers to show you guys today so that you don't have to. All right. Now we're going to break down the plays. All right. If you got a favorite sports team, throw it in the chat. I am a diehard Packer fan. Unfortunately, we lost again here in Denver. But we're not going to talk about that. I'm just going to share these plays. All right. So we got the estimate engine, the pipeline tracker, the proposal builder, and then we got the document factory. Dallas Cowboys, Seahawks, bear down. Oh my gosh. We got Packer fan. Thank God. All right. We're going to start with the estimate engine. All right. So whenever I'm starting, when we're working with a new client, I always like to start with cost codes. I like to start with my job costing and then the catalog. All right. Now, when we're building out our estimate templates, right? Once we got the catalog built out, right? The great thing about JobTread is they have templates right here for you guys. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen this. right? But I'll be honest, I know a lot of people who never fully build it out. So once you have that catalog built out, you can go in, and this is what I always do whenever I'm doing an implementation, as I have a test job, and that's what I work out of, and then I push everything to the catalog as a cost group, right? So for example, I would make a test job. I would implement, let's say I wanted to do something where I'm a remodeler and I want a kitchen remodel template. I would import this in and then I would go through that and basically add the line items that I need, right, to that and start to build from there. We're going to go into more depth like parameters and formulas and stuff like that. But test jobs is the best thing to kind of have a sandbox that you can work out of. Now, one of my favorite things is these supplier integrations. I mean, these supplier integrations have been so great. Now, I started my career at Milwaukee Tool. Actually, in high school, I landscaped uh, the headquarters in Milwaukee, and then out of college, I ended up working for them in their sales department for a few years. Absolutely love Milwaukee Tool. If you guys got tools that you think are better, right, like DeWalt or something, go ahead, throw it in the chat. But hopefully, I got a lot of Milwaukee only, right? M18 fuel. But what's so great about this is you have up-to-date pricing, right? You have the images, you have all the information that you need. So whenever you can utilize and leverage these integrated suppliers, it's absolutely huge. All right. So make sure you're taking advantage of those things because I'm telling you, it is absolutely seamless and I love it. All right. Now, this is some big news. All right. Who's the roofers out there, man? I love my roofers. You guys gave me my first shot, so I appreciate you guys. Getting a QXO integration, that's big time. All right. So now when you're looking for your Owens Corning and your GAF, whatever shingles you're looking for, look at that. And then you got the images right there. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. I love that. And then you're gonna have that pricing once again. All right. So now, one of my favorite things in the trades is estimating. I came in kind of the AI automations kind of vibe, but the more I did it, the more I fell in love with estimating. The reason being is because so many people spend hours and hours and hours on getting an estimate out, and then the person says no and went with somebody cheaper, right? And it's absolutely heartbreaking. When I worked for Milwaukee, I'd be traveling all over. I do a 10-hour drive, get to the hotel, and have to send a proposal, right? It doesn't matter. Nobody wants to do that in sales. They want this quick. They want the money time in front of the customer, right? So what's so awesome about JobTread and your estimate templates is you can integrate tools like Hover, you can do Eagle View, you can do Render. And what it does is it's going to push over those measurements. It's going to push over those files, those reports there for your plans. And those job parameters are gold. Those are gold, right? Because now when we go through our estimate template that we built out and everything we need for XYZ job, and I always like to do it by my top three, four, whatever jobs that we're doing the most. And each one of those has their own template. Now, with the parameters, I can now calculate quantity. I can calculate different things like quantity formulas. You can do unit cost formulas. You kind of name it, utilizing these different things. Now we're looking at like material line items. It's usually be like, all right, so this is the area, right? Whatever that coverage is going to be, this is how many we need. Now, I'll do this with, a cost group template, an estimate template that might have 300 line items in it. It's going to save you so much time. We've even done some cool things where we've looked at previous labor hours by like, plumbing, electrical, blah, 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 all the way through each trade on each job, right? And then from there, what we basically did was say, okay, so we'll do a 1, 2, 3, right, based off size and complexity. And then for electrical, it's like, all right, we've noticed it's 8 hours, 12 hours, 16 hours. And then we go plumbing is this, blah, 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 blah. We have it up top where we basically put a scale for size and complexity. So if you punch in 2, now it's going to go calculate that mid-range for each one of those for you. Now you can go ahead and alter that, of course, but that's a great starting point based off historic data. All right. So this is kind of an example. I know it's big here. There's a lot to look at. But this is just an example of a template that we were working on for, I believe, a kitchen remodel here. Let's see here. Yeah. And you can just kind of see the size. Obviously, each one of those opens up. And the way we did it is we basically went into each cost group, right? And I like to do it trade by trade. And there's some material line items that people will put into every single one, right? And then they'll have it where they'll have in-house and they'll have subcontractor, right? So there'll be like a subcontractor where we could do a lump sum, and then there's also going to be one for in-house. So what we like to do is leave those in there, and then using parameters and different tools like that with the formulas, have let that decide which one actually has a quantity value greater than zero. All right, and this is just kind of a closer up look here. And you can kind of see here. So this is like the quantity formula example. I'm not gonna spend too much time because we can really get in the weeds there though. All right. What we'll do is we'll go into the next one here. Let's see here. Just gonna look at the chat. Makes DeWalt better batteries. Milwaukee Tool actually invented lithium ion. So they had a patent on that for a long time, and we used to actually just get money for it. So we have a gym named after it in the headquarters. So Milwaukee Tool, baby. All right, pipeline tracker here. I'll say one of the things that is the most undervalued trait and feature about JobTread. Of course, the custom fields, you got to expect it. JobTread's so customizable, and that's what's so great about it. But when you're going with the custom fields, that's going to allow you to unlock so much power. You got to be thinking about what data you want to be tracking so you can do reports, you can do different views, all that kind of stuff with it for each job, you can do it for line items, you can do it for vendors, whatever. Documents is a good one. You need to go through that, make sure that you're always tracking those things. Because what we like to do is basically go, if you go on the left-hand side, right, it'll probably say jobs, customers, messages, all that stuff. We want to go through each one of those, and we want to have like 5 or 6 views that are just unique and the most important things. So now you basically kind of have reports, however you want to see it. If you want to make good decisions as a business owner, you need to be able to see the information clearly and easily accessible, right? It's as simple as that. So even with the cost catalog, we're making those different views. We're going to have Kanban views. We'll do ones by supplier. You can do by category. You kind of name it. So making sure that you go through each one of those and setting that up is a great way to leverage the system. And the same thing with dashboards. Now, when you're bringing in those custom fields, you can even set up different reports and charts and everything like that in the dashboards, right? So you'll notice when you're building your dashboards and you have a different tile, it'll say copy, blah, 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 view, right? So if you start with the custom fields, if you go into the views, now you can go directly into the dashboards and build those out based off of that information you wanted to track so bad, right? So dashboards, I absolutely love the dashboards. You can do multiple different dashboards, right? You can do one for sales, you can do one for product, whatever it is, however you like to see it. But just playing around with it, it's set up pretty well where you can, even if you're not super techie, right? You can figure it out and work your way around it. Now, when we're talking about marketing, right? So if we're talking about lead generation, a place that I spent a lot of time in the beginning of my career, what channel was the most profitable, brought you the most profitable jobs, right? You need to be able to track those different things. So you need to be going by department. Each one should have their own KPIs. And you should be able to track that information to easily make great decisions with your business. Now, with the customization and everything like that, I'm telling you, it's possible. You just have to make sure you know what benchmarks you want to hit. All right, we're going to the proposal builder. Now, the proposal builder, this is going off of the estimating side of things here, right? When you're looking at how you present to your clientele, this is absolutely huge, right? There's contractors out there who are doing pen and paper. There's contractors who won't pick up the phone, right? there's contractors that when they send a proposal, it doesn't stand out at all, right? So JobTread gives you the opportunity to upload header and cover pages. What I like to do is I like to go into Canva and basically make sure that every single document template, even if I'm just sending it to vendors, right? Maybe it's overdoing it, but I like to just look good, be on brand, and just look super credible, right? So I go into Canva, I basically make just cover photo and a back page for each one of those document templates, and I upload that into the document templates, right? So now, no matter what, it's going to come up for that template when you make that new document, and you're going to be looking fresh. All right. So take the time, go into Canva, build something out, show off your brand, right? Show that you mean business. You know what I mean? Even with the selections, right? I absolutely love the selections. One day I'd love to get it where I could help you guys just literally just sell a kitchen remodel, uh, you know, at home online almost. Like I'm thinking menu, I'm thinking add to cart type vibes, right? So when you're doing those selections, show visually what they're getting. And this is something that I've been told by a couple experts. I love doing the good, better, best. I absolutely love doing the good, better, best. Like, why wouldn't you see if you can have uh an average ticket size that's a little bit higher than you're used to, right? Because if you're going to offer it, there's a good chance that more times than not, they're going to go with it, right? So start with the most expensive option for each selection. And then from there, go to the good and then, or the better to the good. All right. So kind of flip that. So then that way they start the most expensive and work their way down. All right. And then the financing. All right. So I was told that uh, a good majority, it was a high percentage of people who went to Coachella, and I don't go to Coachella, but I read the article, were financing their tickets. All right. So if people are financing tickets to a concert, you know, there's probably a good chance that they'd be interested into um, financing a kitchen remodel, whatever it might be at X amount per month rather than a massive lump sum. So be utilizing things like acorn financing. My ideal situation would be if I could get all the information, right, and that one meeting, I want to be able to get that estimate out ASAP, right? So I want to have my document template set up. I want to have my cost group or those estimate templates ready to go. So I just have to import it into the job. And then if I'm using a tool like Render, Eagle View, Hover, depending on the work, that's going to be able to calculate those quantities. I'll manipulate it, right? And then be able to send them that and have them see, hey, you only have to pay this month per month. That's pretty appealing. It's a much easier sell, right? We want to see what we can do to try to decrease your sales cycle, right? How can we lower it and convert better and also convert bigger? Now, when you're looking at just selections, right? Personally, I absolutely love selections, and this is the way that I go about it. Whenever I'm building out my cost groups or my estimate templates in the budget, I go through each trade or however it is, depending on what type of work you're doing, but just kind of like the base main components of the job. I like to put my selections labeled very similar as that cost group that it's related to. For example, if it's O5 plumbing or whatever, it would be like O5 plumbing selections. And then I like to put all those inside of that. You can utilize selections for things like appliances, what cabinets they want, what shingle types they want, what shingle colors they want. And personally, I think, when you have something as powerful as the client portal, and you're able to create cost groups for each one of these selections that you can kind of have as your menu where you just kind of add in and easily manipulate depending on the job. It will blow people away. It really will, and it really systemizes everything. And what I love too is with these different documents, you can have it set where as soon as it's accepted, right? And you set this up in your document templates. You have it where as soon as it's accepted, basically, when you had details, you click on the right where it says payment schedule, and you can go ahead and set up the payment schedule here where it will create each one of those invoices. So you can set it up where it's, let's say you do a 30% customer deposit once that proposal is approved. It's automatically going to send them that invoice and then create the remainder ones based off your progress invoicing setup and just leave them as a draft. So you're already saving a ton of time there and check one thing off the task list. All right. Now we'll go into the document factory. Let's see. All right. So we talked a little bit about this already, right? But if you haven't, go to your settings, go to your document templates, and just kind of run through all this. Now, one thing that I like to utilize when I'm trying to figure out, hey, what templates, what cost groups, blah, 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 I'm looking at historic data, trying to figure out what's most important is basically what I do is I go in and I analyze all those different reports that they have. So those report tools that they have where you just download them all. Honestly, I'll usually put all that stuff in an AI project. I use Claude, right? I'll put all of that into one project. And basically, it's able to pull all that information and help me utilize previous labor hours and all that kind of stuff. But you can also see what documents are the most used, everything like that. But basically, go through all of that and go into each one of these document templates and create for each one of your most important jobs, your invoices, and then communication with the vendors and set that up. Now, when you go into here, the things that I like to really focus on, let's say that we're going to be doing a proposal for a roof, and we're going to be doing our good, better, best, where we're going to offer three different shingle types, a different underlayment, and then we're going to have some different add-ons as well, like gutters. What I like to do is go in, I like to set in all my different scope information in the description. They have some cool ways to actually go in there, add alerts, add color, format it. Personally, I think it's well worth it. I go into the emails, right? So rather than having to go in and type in what I'm going to have for each email every single time to every single customer, I'm going to put in a template for what I want to say every single time, add their name, boom, boom, good to go. I add in stuff like product information. So for this example, they were using Titan. I'll have that in the footer, and then I'll add in their personal brand cover page in the front. Vendors. All right. So one of my favorite things about JobTread that I absolutely fell in love with it as first because I'm basically thinking whenever I'm working with somebody is, from the start to the end, is everything correlated, it makes it so much easier to systemize. So when you're working out of this centralized budget, being able to take a line item and send a bid request, right, and have that attach for your job costing to be able to see in one place, it's absolutely beautiful, how much money you made, what your project variance was, how far off you were or how good you did in terms of your profit margins, and then be able to do things like uh, vendor orders and everything like that. Now, who loves the client and the vendor portals? That's also one of my absolute favorite features. So make sure that you're going into your roles, you're setting up your different roles for each your clients and your vendors, and you're leveraging the customer portal. Now, what are the biggest issues that homeowners, commercial property owners have with contractors? What would you guys say? Maybe organization, maybe communication, right? That's where the vendor and client portals come in. Now, I'm a big integration guy. I love integrating my emails, my SMS, my phone system, everything like that. But it's crazy. The more that I do this, the more I think maybe that's not necessarily the most important thing. Maybe it's actually having one central source of truth for communication, right? Just utilizing the message platform. Now, at Better Boss, we actually have been using JobTread ourselves because it's so customizable and it's so easy to work with the clients that we have when we're doing implementations. And the message board is unbelievable, right? They're still going to get an email and it's going to take them right back to their client portal or vendor portal where they have everything stored. They have previous conversations. They have the tasks they have to do. They have their documents. They have their invoices. So for me, what I like to do is push everybody to the portals, right? Because with the customers, they don't have to go through their emails, go through their inbox, try to find the document you sent, right? It all goes with the customer portal. And with the vendors, I think the more I got in the trades, I think one area that we have to remember is vendors and subcontractors are absolutely crucial to your team. And sometimes they're not treated as team members, right? In terms of how we set them up for success. They are going to be representing your company and the quality work that you do. So when you're able to set them up with the tools they need for to be successful, right? To allow them to do daily logs, to give them the plans, to give them the job schedule, to give them tasks to check off, right? All that kind of stuff. That's big time. All right. I went through that pretty quick there, Eric, man. I think I was all hyped up or something, man. I tried to slow down when I saw the time, but I went pretty quick.
No, it's awesome, man. Love it. So we open it up for questions here. See what people want to talk about.
Yeah, let's get into the weeds here now, man.
I think we so Steven had asked, is there any way to track how many days a project has been in a stage? I'd like to be able to see how long it is taking to first contact a customer and how long it is taking to estimate the job.
Hmm. Well, so what would you do on that then, you think, Eric?
I
Because I
mean,
mean, I know there's a way.
yeah, so I think basically if it depends on kind of where you create those reports, right? So like the nice thing about the dashboards is that you can create these reports using any different object. But if you wanted to, like, let's say how long it took to estimate the job, you may want to create a formula field on the
Hmm.
documents that says, if the document is a proposal, let's take the sent date of that proposal minus, the job created date, and that's going to tell us how many days it took, and then you should be able to, to run with it from there.
Yep.
On the jobs, obviously you've got the created date and you got some other fields. Now, I think at the end of the day, like the neat thing is if there's something specific, that you want to report on, you can always use a workflow to essentially save that data after whatever that action is that took place. Like you could save that, that date, and then you could use that date in your calculations. So like, I mean, again, I think like the power of workflows is tremendous to be able to sort of, take the right snapshots at the right time and save the data so that you can then use it for reporting.
Hmm. 100%. And I'm glad that you mentioned that with the formula fields. Because if you haven't messed with it yet, make sure you're doing it. I think formulas and parameters are one of the most powerful tools that you can utilize inside of JobTread, right? If there's a will, there's a way, right? So it's going to start with the parameters, the custom fields. You can even do the formula fields. But if anybody out there, I don't know if any of the partners or anything like that focuses on just formulas, dude, I mean, a masterclass in that could change your life, right? Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to make business as easy as possible. And if you maximize job tread, I promise you can do that. I actually have, I'll throw in the chat here. I got a formula little guidebook that you guys can kind of just take for sure. Who's maximizing formulas? If you're out there, you're using formulas, parameters, all that good stuff, let us know. You got any other? Let's What about integrations, guys? You guys got any integrations out there that you guys are curious about? Obviously JobTread just had the new workflow feature. Is anybody setting up any of the workflows? I think that's something that's super cool. When you're looking at just everybody loves automation, even just the customer notifications, I think is an undervalued thing where you can create your own notifications, reminders, everything like that. Those settings are awesome. Awesome. Oh, here we go. We got the formula Bible.
Sending out that link.
Yeah. All right.
Nice.
So I'll drop some AI stuff, I guess, now that we have some more time. Sorry for ending it a little bit earlier, guys. But so I've been messing around with AI for a long time. I remember it was about 3 years ago, I downloaded my first ChatGPT account, ChatGPT 3. I was absolutely blown away. I felt like it was going to change the world. And I know there's flaws, right? It's really about building a process for how you utilize AI in your business. And what problems you're trying to solve with it. So no matter what you're working on, make sure that you're focusing on what problems do I have and then how do I want to solve them. But after ChatGPT 5 came out, I was not super impressed. So I moved to Claude, right? And so what I did is I go in and I basically had create a project. And then I go into JobTread and I download all those reports. So if you go to reports, you can literally like 20 of them. You can download all of them and then I import that into it. Now, when I'm speaking to that AI, right, it has all my information about how I'm utilizing JobTread and what's going on with my business. And what's crazy about Claude is it'll actually build out spreadsheets that you can import directly into JobTread. So I'll download a budget and or like a job budget CSV file, and I'll import it in there and I'll be like, hey, based off of my cost catalog, based off of blah, 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 create a CSV file that I can import into a job budget for kitchen remodels. Now, it's not going to be perfect, but it's actually going to use your identifiers of the items you have in your cost catalog, the pricing, everything like that. And then you can import it in, and then based off of mistakes or what adjustments you want to make, you can do that. So something like that has been absolutely insane for me. We've done things like permit calculators. We've been able to create formulas that are just like massive, right? So, like I said, the formulas and learning that stuff could be big.
So let's see. Got a couple questions here about does JobTread have someone who can walk us through, building out parameters LiDAR, who can help us maximize JobTread? I don't see how people have time to build out the formulas. There's someone that can help us. It's a very busy GC, is tough as you mentioned. So great question, Matthew. I mean, again, you're looking at one of the masters here, Nick Peret. Is obviously able to really work hand in hand with our clients, and he's done this countless times. Obviously our customer success managers are here. We've got trainings, that you can attend and learn. Our goal when working with our team, like we want to teach you, how to be able to, to learn and kind of, if we teach a man to fish, then, that they can, feed themselves. If you're looking for that really, done for you service, you literally want someone to just come in, log into your account, set it all up, and then just show you how to use it. That's where someone like Nick would be a great person to work
Hmm.
with. He makes it super easy. People are just raving about how easy, just like literally does it all for you. So if you're looking for that, I can't recommend anyone better.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Eric. Yeah, if you guys want, you can scan it. We do have a booking link in my digital business card as well, so you can feel free to book there. I absolutely love working with you guys. And the thing about JobTread is it's so powerful, right? Like it is probably the most powerful software that I've been in terms of the customization and the things that you can build out inside of it. But there is some learning curve there. And I'll be 100% honest, when I first got into this, it was like a purpose mission for me because I knew how big of a problem this was because you just don't have time to go out there. learn all this stuff, right? Become a techie, right? And run your business, you know? But if you do have someone set this up quick for you, right, where it's not going to be a long duration time, we're talking like 30, 45 days where you feel confident and you're feeling good about it. Now you can go out there and make plays and not even have to worry about this. And now you know that you have the best systems, the best software behind you to back you up.
I see Natalie asks, is there a way to import your Excel estimating information into JobTread's catalog without having to fill out the template? You can definitely import from a CSV. I think Nick talked about earlier, and I would also echo and recommend, I would import it to a job, like create a test job, import it to your job
Hmm.
because, you actually, there's way more mass actions, a lot more tools directly on the job budget where you can really kind of get it how you like it. And then once you feel confident with your template, then you can save it back to the catalog. But just some of the reorganization, kind of moving things around, the mass actions. I mean, there's a whole bunch of those that are available to you at the job level that we just
Hmm.
haven't quite got to the catalog level. So definitely
Yeah.
recommend checking that out. And just so you know,
Yeah.
too, one little shortcut or little tip is if you want to import to a job, if one of the drop downs in the views is like it's actually called like the import template, you just save that. And what that's doing is that's giving you all of the headers so that you can take whatever spreadsheet you've got, just if you get the data into the right columns, and when you import it, it's automatically going to match up and it'll be a lot easier so you don't have to go through the mapping every time.
I'm gonna show this. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So the templates, definitely utilize the templates, right? Because as long as you're feeling comfortable about the formatting, you're good to go. And honestly, that's why when I'm gonna show you guys some AI stuff here. This is what I nerd out on all day, basically over here, so you guys can get a little inside look. So with the Claude that I was talking up, basically what we like to do is you can have your own project, right? Where you're able to take all those different reports that you have inside of your JobTread. So go to reports, download all those CSVs. You can upload that all into here. And then if you have product lists, if you have any kind of other information that you want to upload, you can upload that in there, including those templates, right? So any kind of templates for import that you can download, you want to make sure you have that. Also, custom fields, right? So custom fields, if it doesn't have the custom fields, then it doesn't know what to put there. So there's a custom fields report that you can utilize as well. But with that Duralast, I love the guys Duralast. They had a PDF, I think it was. And then let's see here. And then eventually we're able to turn it into an importable template sheet for for that one supplier. And then when I'm in my catalog, I probably have a view that's set just for that supplier, right? For the catalog, I like to have a lot of different views. You could do by category, you could do by supplier, and then I always like to do Kanban and also list views, right? So I'm always leveraging both of those views. But yeah, so that's kind of, and yeah, I mean, you can do anything with this thing. It's absolutely unbelievable. And even if it doesn't get you perfect or all the way there, um, it's going to make a big difference. And then what's cool is when you're talking and speaking with that AI, it's going to have that memory, it's going to have that historic data, it's going to have those files, right? So it's kind of, you can push it and kind of build that relationship that it knows you better and better. So if you're not using it, give it a shot. Give it a shot. It's definitely one of my favorite tools for sure. No doubt.
So Nick, Cindy asked, can you give a brief description of where and how you would use formulas? I have not used them yet, but would like to know about them.
Hmm. So I would say, it's if you don't mind, maybe throw into what kind of work you do. But for me, it's always going to be the estimate templates. That's my favorite way to utilize these. Um, let's go through an example here. Let's say that we're doing a bathroom remodel. All right. The bathroom model, we're going to use render. And so we're going to use render. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to scan the room, right? It's going to create a 3D rendering, and then it's going to give you the measurements, quantities, all that kind of stuff. right? Number of openings, doors, all that. Um, in a CSV file, and then it's also going to give you like a PDF measurement report. Now, if you have render integrated into your JobTread, then you can go where it's the job dashboard, click the button of render, and basically select your job, and it's going to pull up all those measurements, right? Your area, your wall surface area, blah, 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 blah. Now, you hit import, it's going to import those parameters and their values into the budget. Now, if I had a cost group for that particular type of job and I go cost group and I import it in, if I have quantity formulas, right, where it's going to take those measurements and those values from the parameters that render shot over, and it's going to calculate for each one of those line items that has that in there, the quantities for it. So for me, I'm like, man, anything I can do to make estimating easier. And I think I didn't think estimating was going to be as difficult as it was until I got it in the game, right? Like the first 5, 6 years, I was on more the business development side for contractors. So I really didn't know what I didn't know on the operational side and to give credit to the estimating, the art of the estimate, if you will, right? So I challenge everybody to push themselves to how optimized, templated, and efficient they can get with estimating, right? Like compete against each other of how fast you guys can get high quality estimate out, right? Without having to spend Saturday 8 hours putting this thing together. Um, that's one area to maximize it this year. Maximize it, leverage it, optimize it.
Looks like Phil Parsons here is asking, he's outdoor living company, decks, patios, outdoor kitchens, porches. He said, we've chosen simplicity over complex cost and pricing calculations. Do you offer a consultation task to review our current methodology to assess how to do things more efficient? JobTread is adding features faster than we can learn them.
Which is a great thing. I'll tell you that because you're always looking at a product roadmap and just the development. And I know a lot of software companies aren't developing new features at all. They don't even talk about it. So don't get overwhelmed when they're blasting out these new features, right? Just focus on what problems you have to solve specifically, and then figure out what features can help you solve that, right? So you don't have to race. Just focus on one thing at a time, get it optimized, get the way you want it set up, right? And celebrate that win. That's huge. And then do the next one. And yeah, absolutely. You book a call with us, man. I'm telling you, I'm a big relationship guy. I love you just hanging out with you guys, helping the community too. So I'm no pressure. If anybody's supposed to hang out, pick my brain, right? Absolutely. I love to talk to you guys.
I can attest that Nick means that.
Yeah, I know you love it too, Eric, man.
Absolutely, man.
And that's why, and that's what drove me so much to JobTread. Seeing you respond to everybody on these Facebook comments and everything like that, man. Like when you have, people who are passionate about it and want you to win, good things are going to happen. So, I know I mentioned once, but Eric's done a great job. The JobTread team's done an awesome job with the marketplace of partners, right? Nobody can do it alone. So they have a whole portfolio of people who are experts at XYZ and they're passionate about it and they want to help you guys win. So make sure you're utilizing those partners. They're definitely going to take good care of you.
Yeah. So Alex here, he said, are there more than two suppliers? Like if I work with build.com, can I pull selections from there with images and products? And yeah, Z and again, shout out to the web clipper. It is a great tool to be able to just seamlessly grab images, descriptions. I mean, you can literally on build.com, like even the installation guide, the product specification guides, you can like snip those little, just click on the little PDFs and automatically brings that in. We are working with many more suppliers to continue adding more of these, supplier integrations. Like we've got, SRS, Pool Corp, Heritage. We're trying to get going with build.com and Ferguson. They've been a little bit slower. I think they're kind of working on some of the some of the APIs that we need. But yeah, the web clipper is a phenomenal tool.
Oh yeah, I love the web clipper, and I'll kind of show you guys too, like what we do for the ones that aren't synced up, because it's honestly not the end of the world. And you have to remember, any of these integrations, like it's so much time, it's so much effort, and it's a two-way relationship, right? So JobTread's got to be building a relationship with these suppliers, and it's a big deal, and they're crushing the ones that they do have. So what I'll do though is like I'll go into my supplier login. So this was ABC Supply. And usually, honestly, it's not a good idea to try to rip everything out, but focus more on the items that you actually do order. But this thing right here, this little Pokemon ball thing, I didn't mean to actually hit it, but it's called the Instant Data Scraper. It's a Google Chrome extension. Let's see here, so I can get it for you guys. This one right here. So that one basically, if it will go on and it will just scrape out all the information for you guys, right? And then what I do is I use that AI that I told you to basically just put it into the format for import into the catalog. And then you're good to go. And then from there, you can use the web clipper, right? To basically go in and just add the images if you want, right? So for the ones for like selections or whatever it might be, that's what we'll usually do. So we'll go into, we just did one for two like tiles, right? So we scraped it all out of PDFs, we put it in there, and then we use the web clipper tool to go in, add images, specs, or whatever details we wanted to add.
See, Cameron said, a way for the global catalog to send items from approved orders to Home Depot. Hang tight, Cameron. Man, I'm so excited. This is already in the works. Our devs are working directly with Home Depot's devs. Super excited. You're literally going to be able to directly order your materials right through JobTread from Home Depot. It's going to be huge, man. Don't have to leave the job site to get those materials ordered.
Or your M18 fuel combo kit, man, you can order that right there, baby. Let's
That's right.
go. That's what I'll be ordering. I'll definitely get one. Why not, man?
And the cool thing too is you can actually, you can connect to your Pro Extra account so that like if you have special pricing, all of that is automatically being pulled in. So
That's
yeah,
baller.
I will no longer be using the Home Depot app. I will just be going right into my
That's
JobTread
so
org, and
cool.
whenever I need to do a quick run to Home Depot or whatever, I'll be placing that order myself. So super stoked about it.
Oh yeah, that's so cool. Oh, let's see.
See, we did have one question earlier about the integration with Go High Level.
Go high level. Let's see here. So, I mean, honestly, if I was going to do a supercharged system, I would definitely have um, one kind of measurement tool, right? The Eagle View Hover, whatever it might be. I would have a go high level for sure, right? So, if you're going into something like a go high level integration, it's probably good idea to talk to one of the experts, right? You could talk to someone like us, or you could talk to one of the, I think there's automation partners and everything like that, because it's one of those things where it is a lot to learn for sure. But when you're looking at the capabilities at a marketing standpoint, right? Follow up, speed to lead, everything like that. I mean, Go High Level has basically every single feature you can think of inside of it, right? So you could be utilizing things like their AI chat stuff, their AI callers. You could do stuff like the SMS, emails, everything like that. Um, for me personally, though, people, I hear back and forth how people set up their pipeline. Some people say, hey, they have their sales pipeline in one system, right? And then they have production, and once it actually becomes a one job, I believe in their pipeline in JobTread. For me, I'm creating every single lead inside my JobTread, and I'm managing it directly out of my JobTread. And then anything that I have integrated will can help push it along and supercharge it. But I want to manage the entire process through my JobTread. But Eric, I mean, what do you think about that? Have you kind of heard people kind of go both directions there? And what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, I think if you're really looking for the full-blown marketing automation, there are a ton of, features within high level. We have integrated with high level through our workflows. I think eventually we will put the same sort of functionality on high levels workflows. When you use it through ours though, it's free. There's no extra cost. You get unlimited calls and everything. High level. Sometimes kind of there's a bunch of sort of usage pricing
It's
that you might
expensive
not
too.
see immediately,
Yeah.
but that's one of the reasons why we rolled it out on our side first. But I do think, I mean, it's an incredible tool. I echo though Nick's recommendation that like if you are interested in it, I highly recommend working with a partner. If you're not familiar with it, it can it's a lot to
Yeah.
wrap your head around. It is a very complex, but powerful solution, and you are able to get it very tightly integrated with JobTread, which is awesome. But I highly recommend a partner, somebody who can, has a snapshot that can, get you set up,
Hmm.
with a lot, just a lot faster, and then really teach you how to use it instead of you having to go learn everything. Like, it's a lot. So just be aware of that.
It is. And also too, like I touched on it a little bit, but even the custom notifications can be used as an automation, right? So if you're not super familiar with automations and everything like that, you could start there, right? And then you can work your way up into workflows, right? So I mean, whenever you're doing communication to the customer, you can just do create comment, right? So if anything happens in your system that needs to trigger communication to a customer or internal, whatever it might be, I like to create a comment. You know what I mean? I know that I focused on, hey, get everything in the centralized portal and have the communication all there. You're doing automations with the create comment too.
Yeah. Nato is asking, do you guys work with apparatus to be able to build out that catalog if we provide the current estimate, Excel estimate file, or are you recommending we use the template or input it into AI and have it provide the CSV file?
I would say, for me, the AI is something that we're not like completely relying on, right? It's not going to be perfect 100% of the time,
Yeah.
but it can speed things up for sure, right? So for me, it's more about just organizing all the information you do have, reviewing the best jobs, the templates that you guys do have, and getting it into JobTread the best way or the most optimized and easiest way for you guys. AI is just a tool to kind of help us through that process. But if you do have like an estimate template where you have formulas and everything like that, right? If you're able to download that into a CSV file after you convert it into the JobTread format, um, you can definitely do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, look, I see we're coming up here on the top of the hour, Nick. I
Yeah.
really appreciate you running us
I
through, all of this. These playbooks are awesome, man. I love how you came up with the plays. Love it. Super
Let's
cool.
go. Let's go. And I'll be seeing everybody at JobTread Connect, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Let's go.
Yeah, but seriously, guys, like if you're looking for a partner, somebody to help you really take your job tread to the next level, streamline everything, get your workflows going, get formulas, templates. I mean, setting up those Kanbans, those dashboards. Like, I mean, guys, like this is a phenomenal opportunity to partner up with Nick. Let him get in there, get you set up for success. Him and his team do it very, very quickly, and they can literally just unlock so much power. There is a ton of opportunity here. And if you're not, feel like you're not fully up and running, just trust me right now. Schedule a call with Nick. Learn more about what they can do. Their hands-on, done for you approach is super powerful. I think you'll be very happy. Again, I don't get that recommendation for everyone, but seriously, man, Nick is a super powerhouse. He gets technology. He gets job tread. He can be a tremendous resource for you. So hit him up.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a good one.